We've got one more recipe problem here that calls for us to set up a ratio. So I'm going to help you kind of read through the directions for this because it kind of confuses people. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of numbers in this problem. And then I'm going to let you pause and try to work it out. So first we're given the ingredients for a recipe. So our recipe calls for vanilla, flour, chocolate chips, and butter. We're told one of these is going to change, and in this problem my flour changes. So I'm going to set up a ratio from the recipe to what it changes to. Again, remember you can set up your ratio a couple different ways and still get the same correct answer. I'm asked to find what the other ingredients would be. So the other ingredients, looking at my list, there is vanilla. So I'm going to need to do a problem for vanilla. Then I'm going to need to do it for the chocolate chips. And lastly, for the butter. So I'll help us set up this first one. The flour, the recipe called for 3 cups, but I'm changing it to 4. So the recipe for vanilla called for 2 teaspoons. I'm going to look and see what answer that would give me. So that would be my first ratio. So once you go ahead and hit pause and try to get this answer, and then also try to set up the remaining ones as well. You should keep using that 3/4 over and over and over again. Let's see how you did. We're going to do the cross multiplying here. So I get 3x equals 8. And divide by 3, I get x equals 8/3. And the vanilla is measured in teaspoons up here. The vanilla was measured in, oops, it's kind of hard to see. The vanilla was measured in teaspoons. So I'll put that as my units. Doesn't matter which one we do next. I'll do the chocolate chips next. I'm going to keep that 3/4. In the recipe, it called for 1.5 cups of chocolate chips. Notice that 1.5, all of that is in the top part of my numerator. The entire thing's in my numerator. The x is going to stay in my denominator. Only thing that's actually going to change with each one of these problems is that numerator. Everything else is going to stay the same. So I'm going to cross multiply again. So I get 3x, and I've got 4 times 1.5. Well, 4 times 1.5 is 6. And then I'm going to divide by 3, and I get x equals, this was chocolate chips, they were measured in cups. And last, I'll have the butter, again that 3/4. This one kind of gets people because it uses a 3/4 again. 3/4 cups of butter, that was in the recipe. So remember, the recipe is just the top part, the numerator of our ratio. So that 3/4 just goes on the top. Notice, I know I said it before, but I'll point out again, every one of these ratios has the same pattern, a number on top and an x on bottom. We're going to cross multiply. So we'd get 3x is equal to 4 times 3/4. 4 times 3/4 is just 3. Those 4's cancel out. I'm going to divide by 3, so I get x is equal to 1/3.